Okay, pretty slow trade on the scalp dots trade. Matter of fact, I need to adjust my stop here. Let's move it back. I've had it, I've cycled a bit of inventory in and out of this trade, but I'm going to put it at the top of the fast bands, the red line. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead, since we're over a daily goal, and this is like taking a long time. Let's just flip that out. Let's go to break even plus and call it good on my current cost basis. So we had the initial rotation that I showed in the prior video, stop up here at the dot. Overnight session ended up being a dead duck. I mean, like not much at all happened. We had another scalp dot. So I had taken some initial liquidity off. I just put on like one contract, took some off in this garbage. We've gotten another scalp dot here, coming out or coming into pre-market just ahead of the U.S. cash session open. So right now I'm just in the last five. I'm over daily goal, and I'm going to keep following the stop right here. Now we are to mid band, and I am over daily goal. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's buy up 3, see if we can get to 1,000, and we'll leave 2 on. This is a very slow developing trade so far. We should have had more downside movement, I thought, in the overnight session. Come on, stop. We should have at least traded down to the close of yesterday, I thought, in the overnight session. There we go. So now we're down into the area where the end of day was. I thought that would happen in the overnight session. So we're sitting about over 900. If this breaks down even more and I get over 1,000, it's either going to hit my stop that I'm going to trail. And again, this was a scalp dots trade. So it's either going to hit my trailing stop that I have on the top of the fast bands. And as we trade lower and the fast bands keep plotting lower, I'll keep moving my stop. But any last little push we get that would get me to 1,000, if we get there, then I'll just flatten out the trade. Yeah, because this was, to tell you the truth, this was garbage last night. And I've locked in that I'm going to hold at least 700 on the day. So at this point, I don't even care what happens. So very, very cyclical, kind of a narrow range night overall. So, and we are at mid band. So, the markets bounce a lot at mid band, especially when the bands are predominantly up. And we've been pretty bullish. So this might be where, institutionals are letting it pull back a little bit. Then they come in heavy and they jam this up to try to go make a new high in the morning, maybe before some new responsive selling comes in into new highs offered. So we'll see what happens here. But anyhow, overall, it worked out, and we'll call it good. Yeah, if we ran all the way to the other side of the bands, that would be a heck of a trade this morning. But again, you're not, I was on Twitter last night looking at some trading stuff, and everybody's like, just, I've got to hit this trade where I make like 150 points. That's just not going to happen every day. There's day when the NASDAQ opens and it's just a garbage, 50, maybe if you're lucky, 60 point range. So it's kind of the wrong mentality. You got to get into a money ball mentality where you go off, I got to get some base hits, enough to win the game, and on occasion I'll get doubles, triples, and homers. So that's the mentality you got to get into and trade. Oops, turn my screen brightness up there. I usually tone it down at night. You got to get into that mode of, just, grabbing what you can. Matter of fact, let's put a final target down here at the 39 level for 2. That should easily put me over. We'll just put it at the 39 level. right around 39. Any push down in that area should do over 1,000. And you can see I'm basically keeping the stop right at the top of the fast bands. So as the fast bands press lower on any additional push lower, then that's where we're at. Again, kind of slow developing. We should have more of a building linear price movement here. Now I'm in a bigger trade here off the highs yesterday, and actually it's pretty good where it's at. I should go blip that trade out. I was shooting for like $3,000 at 3,500, and we're way over that now that we're getting some extension lower. So I'm going to go flatten that quick. And you know what? I'm going to call it good on this one too. That's plenty good. We did over 900. I achieved my objectives, and basically this can put me done for the day so I can go work on programming projects. I don't program. Uh, I've got programmers working on all kinds of stuff. We got the hybrid Z-score tool. I should be testing that any day now. And then the first tool for TickBlaze, I'm trying to get in my hands by Friday or through the weekend so I can test it, make sure that's ready to go. And then I've been putting together some curriculum on the portfolio, trading at the fund level, portfolio-based trading, kind of a primer on it. I'm going to be hitting that big when we get TickBlaze rolled out, because TickBlaze has a fantastic optimization engine, not for just doing one instrument in a time frame and a system. You can do an entire portfolio optimization. That's gigantic. That's usually something you only get in an institutional platform. So if you got questions on system related stuff, when it comes to portfolio trading, or you want to trade a fund, you want to trade a Darwin X account in FX and CFDs, or you want to trade a portfolio in crypto or FX, or maybe you want to do some stock listings, or the high flying stocks in a portfolio using the dual bands, super bands approach that I've been showing you guys in recent videos, hit me up at info@gridalgo.com. So anything related to the Algo IQ program, here's our new email. Let me go ahead and type that up. So if you have questions on getting access to the Algo IQ program, that's info@algo-iq.com. Just like our new website is Algo, www.algo-iq.com. So that's for Algo IQ system related, how to get the system. Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to bounce here. When I see those kind of slowish type pullbacks and I don't see it start accelerating, that means that, it's not really built by global selling, meaning funds and those across the world starting to unwind a market that's all-time highs, coming off all-time highs. That's more like institutionals are grinding it down a bit just so they can turn around and be buyers to push it back up and maybe, pump this thing. So this is our current all-time high. And remember, this is just one way of using the tools. We have mom signals, which are momentum burst trades. I don't have those turned on in this chart. But when I get these excursions outside of the bands and I like the area price, I'll work these scalp dot trades on occasion. And I could work them fully automated with third-party tools. I don't have a strategy written for this. I don't need to. I can work these manually, like no problem. It's pretty slow, methodical trading. Now I could go on a lower time frame and be working these type of trades as an intraday quick scalper. I could go down in something in the 20s or lower 30s and play that game, and then optimize the bands. Now here's a magical part of this indicator, and this was the biggest expense in the indicator. This indicator has a wondrous setting feature. I can go in here, and I won't tell you how long this took to build, but I was like, I want that in these bands. So I can set and say, let's say I'm on a chart where I'm looking back 6 months of a particular instrument, or maybe a month or 3 months, depending what time frame I'm on. I can go in here and I can say, optimize the main bands, the upper and lower main bands, where only 7% of all price candles are outside of the bands from this point going back 6 months. And you come tell me how wide the deviation, how wide to set my bands, so that optimized for the last 6 months, I only want 7% or maybe 5% of all price candlesticks outside the bands. That's huge to have that capability. And then it'll spit out the settings. You set that in here for your width, and you're off to the races. You have now optimized your bands for how picky you want to be and how little of price action you want to see outside your band. So when you get excursion outside the bands, it means something. So you can go take action on it. So for us in institutional FX, fully automated trading, for most instruments, the sweet spot is 5 to 7%. It's been that way for 9 years. So that is a big, big secret sauce component of this type of, or having the ability to optimize this type of superbands approach. So the nice thing, this set of bands was built completely different than any one I've ever used before. Even though it might look similar, we have a whole new way of computational style on the programming side. And then we have all new math in the calculation of the bands themselves. And that's all from 2 breakthroughs I've had when I was building all this stuff with the programmer from scratch. So anyhow, there you go. If you have any questions of me on portfolio-based trading or building systems or anything like that, info@gridalgo.com. If you want information on the actual getting part of the or becoming part of the Algo IQ program, go to www.algo-iq.com to get a little reference. And then for any questions on getting access to the system tools, info@algo-iq.com. Okay, guys, have a fantastic morning, and I'll probably put up more videos later today.